want to tell you about a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I would have missed out on last week had I given in to fear. In case you're new to my blog and didn't know, I'm married to a man from Chile. And Christians in Chile, oh my goodness, for them there's God and there's family, and somewhere in there is soccer. It's huge in Chile, and I've become just like them. Obviously, the biggest soccer event is the World Cup, which happens every 4 years. But the next biggest event for teams on this side of the world is the American Cup, or better said, La Copa América. And this year was the centennial year of the tournament, and it was hosted in the USA, and the semifinal game in which Chile would go up against Colombia just happened to be in Chicago last Wednesday. On Monday of last week, we were able to get our hands on some discounted tickets, so we got them in spite of the horrendous weather forecasts all over the news. I figured, the weather forecast could change a bunch in the next 48 hours. It did. It got worse. The morning of the game, all forecasts showed thunderstorms, flooding, hail, and tornadoes in Chicago, like really bad stuff. While I was at work all morning long, I thought, maybe we should stay home. What if a tornado hits while we're in the upper section of Soldier Field? This is getting scary. But I knew fear was in no way an option. First, I knew my husband would laugh at me for even mentioning missing the game out of fear. And two, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, the centennial Copa América. We had to go, and even if we had to endure being pelted with hail or had to dodge some lightning bolts, we'd have a more exciting story to live and tell than, oh yeah, we got tickets, but we chickened out and stayed home and watched it on TV instead. So, we're a 40-minute drive to the train station, and then over an hour train ride in, and then a 35-minute walk from Union Station to Soldier Field. The game wasn't until 7 p.m., but we took the 2:20 train to make sure we would get there in plenty of time. Long story short, the train made it in safely, and on the way we even met a fun Chilean guy who introduced us to another Chilean who married a gringa like me, who lived really close to us. We got rained on while walking to the stadium, but then we danced to the pre-game music in the stands for 2 hours in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weather. And then we watched an amazing first half in beautiful weather with Chile scoring 2 golazos within the first 12 minutes. And then right when the first half ended, the lightning and the buckets of rain and the winds blasted us while 55,000 crazy soccer fans crammed into the hallways of Soldier Field seeking cover for 2 hours while rivers of water from the section above flowed on over our feet. Once the fun 2-hour halftime show of watching complete strangers crammed into a small space was over, we returned to our seats, watched about 50 stadium workers squeegee off the field. Then we watched a thrilling second half, including a highly entertaining soccer fan running out onto the field, evading all the security guys for almost the length of the field until he got tackled. And then we joined the crowd as they cheered him on, almost louder than anyone had cheered for either team that night. A little side note, I told my husband that rushing the field and evading security during a major sporting event like that is definitely on my bucket list, and that I trust he'll bail me out of jail when I do decide to go for it one day. So, back to the game. The game was over 4 hours after it had started. We joined in on the final cheers and celebrations, had a safe train ride home, and made an unforgettable memory we will forever enjoy. It was a total blast that we could have missed out on had we given into fear. In this case, fear of a bad weather forecast. It's a fun story that enriched our lives because Chilean soccer is a big deal to us. So here's a question. What's a big deal to you? And even more, what fear are you giving into that's causing you to miss out? I think many of us, specifically those of us who say we're following Jesus, who have the power of the Holy Spirit living inside us, have been at times slowed down or completely stopped from living God's fullest potential for us, or from living the abundant life that Jesus offers. And it's all because of fear. And we're missing out, and we've kind of become okay with missing out. Oh, that can't happen. On my blog, I give you the short version of one of the craziest stories in the Bible. It's in the book of Judges, chapter 4, the story of brave Deborah, a big chicken named Barak, and another woman named Jael, who went down in history as one of the bravest women ever. In the next week, or maybe few weeks, I'd like to get this topic of fear out into the light because I believe it's causing many of us to miss out on God's best for us. And not just miss out on watching a fun soccer game, but miss out on living a more exciting story in which we see God's powerful and loving hand at work, where we see Him using us to make an eternal difference in this world, starting with those closest to us. I don't want to miss out, and I know you don't want to either. So read that story on my blog and ask yourself, what fear am I giving into that's causing me to miss out? And, missing out could mean a million different things, like missing out on deeper and more healthy relationships, or on job opportunities, on introducing friends to Jesus, on learning new things, or simply in living a better story. Please do me a favor. I bet you have a few friends who have given into fear as well. Please share this video with them and direct them to the Bible story on my website. And I'd also love to hear from you. What are some of your biggest fears? Leave them in the comments, and they just might be some of the same fears I'll be addressing in the upcoming weeks. Let's get victory over our fears together. Speaking of victory, Chile didn't just win the semifinal. They went on to beat Argentina in the final game of the Copa America. ¡Viva Chile! ¡CHI! ¡Le, le, le! ¡Viva Chile!